Fluffy here, back with another Fibro Friday. I'm sorry for last week, it just didn't work out, but I am here today, and as you saw in the title, we will be talking about fibromyalgia and the spoon theory. I will be reading from an article entitled Arizona Pain, We Live with Change. We change lives here. And like always, I will put the link for this page in the description box. So let's get started. All right, fibromyalgia spoon theory explains how patients ration energy. I don't know how many of you know about the spoon theory. And for those of you that have friends and loved ones with fibro and they don't know about it, maybe you can suggest this for them. Sorry, y'all, I forgot something to drink and the fog is bad today. All right, here we go. For healthy people, navigating the day doesn't take much planning other than determining the order of things. Lunch or grocery shopping, they might wonder. Either way, it doesn't matter, and both will get done on most days. And if choosing is required, it's usually not for lack of energy. Probably for them, it's more about time. But for the 5 million people with fibromyalgia who live with near constant pain and fatigue, energy becomes a precious resource, and daily life tasks must be prioritized because there simply isn't enough for everything. How many of you can relate to that? I'll bet every single one of us, for sure. The fibromyalgia spoon theory explains how people with chronic illnesses ration energy. The fibromyalgia spoon theory was developed by a woman named Christine Miseradino, who has lupus. Lupus is an autoimmune disease that is clearly related to fibromyalgia, a disorder involving widespread pain, fatigue, and trouble sleeping, among other symptoms. The two symptoms are so closely related that doctors frequently have difficulty distinguishing between them, according to Arthritis Today. When you go to a rheumatologist and they're trying to determine if you have fibromyalgia or not, chances are when they will do blood work, and lupus is one of the things that they will test for. Fatigue and trouble sleeping among other symptoms. The two symptoms, okay, the fibromyalgia spoon, I already read that, sorry y'all. The fibromyalgia spoon theory goes something like this. A person starts the day with a certain number of spoons. Each spoon represents a burst of energy. Showering in the morning might require a spoon. Getting dressed is another spoon. For me, showering usually requires 2 spoons. Bathing requires 1 spoon. I don't know about y'all. Miseradino wrote about this theory, recalling her meeting with a friend in a diner. The friend wondered what living with lupus was like, not from a physical perspective, but from a psychological one. What does it feel like on the inside? The friend wondered. So she thought about it, and basically it says she thought about it and thought about it and thought about it, and she got 12 spoons and said, here, you have lupus. And her friend jokingly said, can I have some more spoons? Because she pulled 12 of them, and the lady said, Miseradino said no, suddenly realizing that she hit upon a good way of explaining the unexplainable. Miseradino and her friend went through the day. Showering, that's a spoon. But wait, Miseradino says, the implication of chronic illness begin even before you rise. She describes, you don't just get up. You have to crack open your eyes and then realize you are late. You don't sleep well the night before. You have to crawl out of bed, and then you have to make yourself something to eat before you can do anything else. Because if you don't, and take your medicine, you can't take your medicine, and if you don't take your medicine, you might as well get all your spoons for the day and tomorrow. Give up all your spoons for today and tomorrow, right? Getting dressed costs another spoon, but Ms. Rodino tells her friend about the decisions that go into getting dressed. If a particular part of the body hurts or is bruised from the disease, the influences the day's outfit choice. Don't you agree? Especially for those of y'all who can't wear certain things. Wally, you scared the crap out of me. Something brushed against my knee, but it was her ear. Sorry. Already down multiple spoons and not even out of the house yet, the friend began to understand that not all the day's desired activities would be completed. Ms. Rodino writes, the difference is being sick and being healthy, is having to make choices or to consciously think about things when the rest of the world doesn't have to. The healthy have the luxury of a life without choices, a gift most people take for granted. The fibromyalgia spoon theory continues to dinner. While a healthy person has an array of choices for dinner, a person experiencing pain, fatigue, or nausea from a chronic condition must approach meal times a little differently. With one spoon left, Ms. Rodino explains. If you cooked, she wouldn't have enough energy to clean the pots. If she went out for dinner, she might be too tired to drive home safely. Remember when we went to H Mart? Then, I also explained that I didn't even bother to add into this game that she was so nauseous that cooking was probably out of the question. Life at a slower pace is a key for living with chronic illness. Learning to slow down is the hardest thing for Ms. Rodino says she'd have to learn. She had to learn. Learning to feel left out, be okay with saying no, and prioritizing so that most important activities get done early enough in the day when there's still spoons available. There are the things people without chronic illness can't understand, but the fibromyalgia spoon theory helps explain. People with fibro must manage pain, fatigue, and other symptoms while attempting to live a full life. But unfortunately, most people find their lives changed in one or more aspects. A survey conducted by the American Pain Foundation and National Fibromyalgia Association found these symptoms impact everything from relationships to parenting to important life decisions. They sure do. I was thinking about doing fibro, pain, fibromyalgia, and relationships. Might be my next one, but I thought the spoon theory would be a little bit better today. The results were compiled from online questionnaires answered by more than 2,550 people with fibromyalgia and hundreds more with other chronic pain conditions. Fibromyalgia symptoms influence people's decision to have children because patients feared about their ability to take care of a child or go through the experience of childbirth. Me and a friend recently had this conversation. Meanwhile, 95% of respondents with children under the age of 18 said pain made parenting difficult because it diminished their ability to enjoy highlights in their children's lives and shepherd kids to school events and social activities. This is where I was fairly lucky. I mean, I had fatigue, for quite a long time. I just felt like it was just me working too much as a single mom. And when fibro really hit me, both mine and the ex's son, both my daughter and the ex's son, were already 18, above 18 and taking care of themselves. Well, actually, I guess he was 17, but still, driving, working part-time. So I was lucky in that respect, and I know some of you don't have that luxury. Nearly all of those who responded said they altered their daily routine to simplify it or make it easier, similar to Ms. Rodino's fibromyalgia spoon theory. Nearly 70% said fibromyalgia impacted their ability to take care of relatives. For me, that's kind of where guilt kicks in. My mom recently had breast cancer that went into her lymph node. I did what I could. I asked her all the time for if I could help her. She said no, and I'm pretty sure she didn't want to put me out because of my fibro, even though she doesn't understand it. With my dad, also, it was very difficult, so that's where guilt comes in. Another study commissioned by health news site Healthy Woman found that 85% of patients with fibro consider the disease a burden on their lives, and 64% are concerned their condition is not taken seriously enough. Everybody, let me see. Raise your hand. Ain't that the truth? Nearly half of survey respondents reported stunted careers, while 67% said keeping up with household chores was no longer an option. There again, there's the guilt. We have a chore chart. Most of the chores are done by the niece and the kid. So it makes it difficult for me, but I try to do what I can. Some days it isn't much at all. Other impacts included the ability to spend time with friends and family and lessened intimacy with partners. How has fibromyalgia impacted your daily life? Okay, so that's the end of the article. So, spoon theory. I think it's really great. It is something that you have to kind of develop because, you know, most of us feel so guilty that we go and go and go and go until we just say, I'm done. I mean, I'm guilty of it. I try to do the spoon theory, and I'll do really good in the morning. Here lately, I've been keeping a lot of late nights. So by the time I get up, it's kind of midday to afternoon. But even then, even the few hours that you are awake, you kind of have to gauge your energy. And that's where the spoon theory comes in. You can, you know, I do mental spoons. Some people, like her, literally pull out the spoons if that helps you keep track. I find that at the end of the day, if I have 2 or 3 things to do and I've only got 1 spoon left, I tend to do the 3 things most of the time. You know, I'm not always able to, but I try. Some of the things, how can you ration your spoons? There are things that you can do to reserve your energy. I know one person in the comments, I think it was Laura, I'm not sure, remind me, tell me if I'm wrong. She said that she has kind of redid her bedroom, where her office and, you know, a lot of her stuff is confined to her bedroom because that's where she spends a lot of her day. For me, it's kind of split between the two. When I was really heavy into my flare, I put a lot of things in my bedroom to have around me. Same thing with the living room next to my recliner. I also make good use, like if the kid will bring me something, or I brought something out from the bedroom or the kitchen, if I have to get up and go to the restroom or get up and do something in the bedroom, I'll pick up these items and I'll drop them off along the way. So then it's, you know, you're using the same amount of energy to do multiple things. And that's making it livable for you. You know, I think as I get older, I'm becoming more of a minimalist, not a true minimalist, but I want less things. And it sometimes gets a little crazy because the kid is still in her youth and she loves a lot of knickknacks. And so I just look at things and go, nope, this is not mine. Just let it go. But kind of unclutters your life, you know. So that's what I do. I am fortunate enough where the kid does most of the cooking since she's been home. I know that she's planning. Also, learning to say no to people, because, you know, I always tell y'all, if you know whatever you're going to do is going to wear you out, then make it worth your while. Just make it worth your while, and then when you're in your flare, you're like, yep, I did that, but it's okay. I'll push through this flare because doing yada, 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 whatever it was totally worth this flare I'm fixing to go through. If you're having a bad day and your family wants you to come over and do this, or friends want you to go over and do that, and you just can't, just work really hard on not feeling guilty about it. I struggle with that. I really struggle with that. Here lately, you know, I've been gone, things that I'm doing for myself. I know being, you know, at first I felt kind of guilty, kind of let my channel go a little bit, and things, and took time for myself, but I said, you know what, I'm worth it, I need that time, and I'm going to do it, and I'm glad that I have been. So, you have to live for yourself, and I know, you know, again, I'm in a unique situation, but even if you have kids, try real hard, find support groups, find somebody to watch your kids even for an hour and say, look, you know what, I'm gonna go in my room, I'm a veg, I'm gonna pretend that, you know, I'm in this world by myself and I just need to rest, because healing, resting to heal is really important. Try, how do I put this? We've talked about accepting your new normal, and I heard a lot of you comment, and I really appreciate the comments. I think it's helped people realize they are not alone, and this video really is kind of a co-video between you and I, because it is a shorter video. It talks about reserving energy, the spoon theory, and I would like to know what things that you do for yourself to make things a little easier, even on your worst days. It could be something as small as, okay, I got enough snacks so I can sit on my hiney for the next 3 hours and not have to move. Or I got somebody to drive me to the park and all I did was sit on a bench and watch people go by and watch the birds and feed the birds. You know, let me know what y'all do, if y'all have found things to kind of ease it for you and reserve your spoons. Some of you who are struggling with that, please read the comments. Somebody may have a suggestion that works for you. Like I said, for me, you know, it took a long time to accept that my life was going to be different. I set my brain in motion for that, for the long haul, so to speak. And just, I basically shut my life down except for my channel and my girls, my kids. So, but I come to the realization that while that was useful for a while, I need more. And so I'm working towards that, you know. And y'all really, I hope that, because I don't like the word should, y'all should do that, you know. Work on it. I know that some of you recently diagnosed, some of you that are just coming around to understanding your illness. And I always say, knowledge is power. The more you know, the more powerful you become about your own life. And that's very important. So use your energy sparingly. Try not to use your surplus for tomorrow. It happens. Because, you know, I can lay it down and say, that's it, I'm done for the day. You know, the dogs are fed, they've been out, and I can just, you know, do what I need to do for self-care. Y'all have kids. Y'all have a spouse. Maybe sit down and have an honest conversation with your spouse about what you need. There's nothing wrong with asking for what you need and telling your loved one you're lacking in certain areas, but you also have to listen to their frustrations, because fibromyalgia impacts everyone, and try to get them to be honest. You know, I think one of the most devastating things that happened to me when the ex and I separated was that she really didn't understand or accept the fibromyalgia like I thought she had. That was hard hit. That hit me hard, because I would have rather heard about it long before that day, you know? So, any suggestions y'all have for a next video? I understand this is really short, but the spoon theory, it's really self-explanatory when you read it. You can look up her. I probably will have put a name when I said her name so the spelling is right in case I didn't pronounce her right. The article that I read will be in the description box. Please, 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 if you feel comfortable, please share your experience and what you can do. If you have any questions, or some people that have really been able to kind of get a hold of their fibro and deal with it in a positive way, I just push through. You know, like when I don't sleep and I wake up tired, like today I slept from, I had maybe under 4 hours worth of sleep. Had to take the niece to an appointment, you know, had to do some things around the house, and I may pass out later. Just about out of spoons, y'all. And I laugh because, you know, humor is the best medicine. You can't sit around and feel bad all the time. There has to be a break, a small break in happiness, a small break in cheer. And even if it's at the most inconvenient time, or, you know, you think to yourself, you know, I'm going to hell for laughing at that. And I don't mean be cruel or anything like that. Just, you know, find humor in your day. Find joy in your day. Even if it's taking that first sip of hot coffee and you just sit back and close your eyes and, you know, just think of those coffee beans in your coffee cup. You know, small joys are sometimes more precious than the big joys, in my opinion, because people with fibro have a hard time sometimes finding joy. And that's okay. You don't stop looking for it. Don't stop looking for your joy. Having said that, thank you for joining me this Friday. I hope y'all have a fantastic weekend. I will talk to y'all real soon. God bless y'all. Positive vibes out to each and every one of you. Remember to always be kind and be your own advocate. I love y'all. Y'all have a great weekend. Bye.